I saw some people in the, speaking of the chat, I saw some people in WhatsApp um, asking for something. I'm actually also staying. Okay, we're good. In fact, there we go. Kadine's already shared the link. We're good to go. All right. Good evening, future diplomats. If you are new, welcome. We aspire to become diplomats. We are a band of professionals and students all across I'm going to say the United States primarily, but there are some people outside of the United States that are United States citizens. Um, and sorry, I started thinking about that. The thing in the news about the it's the HB1 um, people needing to come back to the United States. So I started thinking about those that are there, but a lot of current events that are constantly happening here with our country. So in this session, this is not about current events so much, but we will go over some really cool things. Today's session is about policy and national security through the Eisenhower, Kennedy, and Johnson era. We're going to be going over landmark Supreme Court cases and significant constitutional amendments, which we love the amendments. I think we've gone over at least 3 times in the last 4 months. So you should be ready if you've been attending. And if not, then you may learn something today. And I look forward to that. So what will you take away from today's session? You will get FSOP prep, FSOA readiness, contextual awareness, and critical thinking strength. Announcements as always. And I'm sorry, my name is Travis, for those that have not had a chance to connect with me directly. Thank you for those that have come in through Reddit, through YouTube, through Facebook, through WhatsApp, and through Google, and also from the State Department. Shout out to y'all as well. Upcoming announcements. The October test is back on. If you have not heard, the testing windows is between the 18th and the 25th of October, and registration has already opened, and you have until the 16th. So you have a couple more weeks to go ahead and register and jump in. Next week, we will be taking the practice tests together. That will be our session. We'll discuss more about that later. Shout out to the latest 100 that have joined. And actually, since I made this slide, another 40 has joined us. So shout out to each of you that have joined the Future Diplomat Society. We help each other. And if you have expressed interest in facilitating tonight's or a session, if you have selected that on the form, you would have gotten an email from me today with a calendar request for later this week, and a separate email just going over what to expect. And if you had any, and also if you have any questions, if you let that on the form, you will have gotten another email as well. So I really appreciate the engagement and your excitement. So what comes next? Kadeen Powell. She has served as a United States diplomat. She's also a fellow future diplomat, as the rest of you are, an aspiring diplomat. She is a U.S. Air Force veteran. She has a master's in public administration. And if she wants to say anything additional, I will leave it to her, as she did last time, which I do appreciate. Her introduction is so much better than mine. I don't want to steal her thunder at all. I did okay?
Yeah, you did okay. Are you turning it over to me now?
It is officially over to you. Let's go.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Hi again, everybody. I don't have a lot to say because like last week, I just want us to jump straight into the studying, because as we saw last week, time flies. We were here until I think almost 8:30 for some people, if you stayed for the whole thing. So if you were here last week, you know what we have are a couple narratives. This week is a little bit different because instead of 3 narratives, we're going to have 2 narratives and 2 corresponding quizzes. We also have a quiz of the constitutional amendments not necessarily significant ones, but the ones that are not easy. So, I didn't put the 5th on there. I didn't put, I think, like the 13th on there, because those are the ones that we kind of know. So I put some of the lesser known ones, because every test that I've taken and all the study material that I'm going through, there's always a question about the constitutional amendments on there. So I think it's a good idea to know what they are. Quick quiz question. How many constitutional amendments are there? That's a question I've seen recently. What's it saying in the chat? How many constitutional amendments? Awesome. Yep. So you might think, for some of us, it might seem like a daunting task to learn all 27, but I learned all 27 in a couple hours, a couple Sundays ago. How? I associated each amendment with something in my own life. Really funky ways how I came to remember those, but they work for me. I can rattle them off. Number 10, number 27, because I associated it with something that was like personal to me. And in a couple hours, I knew them all. So we're gonna go through those. So our first narrative is gonna be on political errors, Eisenhower, Johnson, and Kennedy, but not in that order. Eisenhower, Kennedy, and Johnson. Then we have landmark Supreme Court cases, and then we'll roll straight into our into our constitutional amendments. All right, so I'm gonna turn it over to you guys. I think Travis shared the link for the 3 narratives. We're gonna take 10 minutes to read our narratives. At 7 minutes, I'm gonna just come back and see if anybody's still reading. And if anybody's still reading, we'll give the additional 3, and then we'll roll into the quiz. And like we decided last week, everybody's just gonna read on their own, because majority kind of like that. So good luck, take your notes. We've got 10 questions coming up in 10 minutes.
And if you haven't seen, the link is in the chat. It is a Google Doc link if you have not seen it. And it will only have one narrative, and then I will share the next one. Awesome. I see some thumbs up. Sorry to interrupt. There's 40 people on the call, but there's 29 people who are in the link uh, in the document. So if you need it again, I did share it in the chat again. And if you have any trouble, just let me know in the chat as well.
Just a quick thumbs up from anybody still reading. That's our 7-minute mark. Quick thumbs up if you're still reading. Gotcha. All right, that's our 10 minutes. Time for a 10-question quiz. I do want to consider anybody still reading, but are we all ready? Travis says we're ready. All right, Phyllis, I see you. All right. Eisenhower's New Look strategy relied primarily on what? We've got 4 options here. Expanding conventional ground forces. Margaret says massive nuclear retaliation and deterrence. So does Maria. Tom agrees. Devendra agrees. Rajiv agrees. Acacia agrees. The group agrees, and that is correct. New Look relied primarily on massive nuclear retaliation and deterrence. Awesome. All right. Question 2. The Eisenhower Doctrine of 1957 pledged U.S. aid to countries in which region resisting communism? All right, the group says D, Middle East. I did see a B in there. It went by a little quick. All right, Ruth says D. No more answers coming in. Correct. D, the Middle East. I do have a bonus question on this one. How about which earlier doctrine pledged U.S. support to Greece and Turkey against communism? Which earlier doctrine do we read about? We talk about. Mark says Truman Doctrine. Anybody else? Anything else? Tyler says Truman, and he is certain of it. You've got Mike. Ladies, what do we say? I got Mark and Tyler coming in. Rajiv. Yep, Rajiv. Which earlier doctrine pledged assistance to Greece and Turkey to resist communism? And that's one I see all the time, consistently. I've got Mark and Tyler both saying Truman. Where my ladies at? Any of the ladies want to respond something? All right, the dudes have it. It is the Truman Doctrine of 1947. All righty. All righty, question 3. Travis, can we move on? All right. Which 1960 Cold War event embarrassed Eisenhower and derailed a US-Soviet summit? The group says B. B is the consensus. The answers have stopped coming in. Absolutely, B, the U-2 incident. I do have a bonus question here. So these bonus questions are not necessarily in the narrative, but if we've read up on any of these things, we might know a little bit more. Does anybody have an answer to where was the summit or the name of this summit that was actually supposed to occur and didn't happen because of the U-2 incident? Anybody knows the name of this summit or even where it was supposed to occur? Joy says USSR. Anybody else? Tom coming in with the Paris, Rajiv with the Paris, and Paris is correct. Yep. Occasion, not Moscow. Yep, Paris. That was the Paris summit of 1960. That didn't happen. All right, number 4. Kennedy's flexible response strategy emphasized what? Tyler saying C, Thomas C, Joy is C, Nathan says C, group's consensus is C, Acacia, Twanda, the consensus is C. The responses have stopped. Rajiv with the final response, it is C. It emphasized a range of military options, including conventional and special forces. Nice job, guys. All righty. Number 5. Easy peasy, easy money. There should be a in the bag. Not even going to read it. Awesome. Definitely Fidel Castro. Awesome. Number 6. Which Cold War confrontation brought the world closest to nuclear war? The folks are saying C. Nothing but C's. And C is correct. Nice job, guys. All right. What 2 concessions were made to resolve this Cuban Missile Crisis? Lots of C's coming in. Nathan says C. Sabina says C. Tom, lots of C's coming in. Waiting to see if anybody else thinks anything different. All right. Tyler with the last response, and the answer is C. The U.S. pledged not to invade Cuba and remove U.S. missiles from Turkey. Awesome job, guys. All right. What did the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution of 1964 give President Johnson authority to do? This is number 7. The folks are saying B. The folks believe B. Anything different? Yvette says B. Hajir says B. Maddie says B. I think Maddie might be our last response. And the answer is B, escalate the Vietnam War without a formal declaration of war. Here's a good question, a good bonus question. Before we move on to this one, Travis, go back. How many days can the president leave troops in place? Mark with the quick 90. Anybody else? Mark knows the question. Travis says 60. Lay says the consensus is 60 with 190. Hajir is 90. You know what? This is a tricky one because it is 60 with 30 days. Sort of, what's the word I want to use? With 30 days of sort of leeway. It grace period. Thank you, Mark. Yep. So it's 60 days with 30 days grace period. So perfect. So don't let that 60, 90 trick you up. 60 days with 30 days of leeway. So ultimately up to 90, but it's 60 according to the law. All righty. Moving on, number 9. That sustained bombing campaign was known as, the folks say it's Rolling Thunder. Sele says it's Rolling Thunder, so does Mark. Kwanda, is that a B, Kwanda? I see 3, but maybe, yes, thank you, ma'am. All right, Ruth with the got you, Tawanda. Absolutely. Operation Rolling Thunder is correct. All righty. And last but not least, by 1968, U.S. troop levels in Vietnam had reached approximately how much? The folks are saying 500,000 plus, 500,000 plus. Maria says 500,000. Rajiv says 500,000. No more answers coming in. Acacia says 500,000, and that is correct, 500,000. Awesome job, guys. Let me see if I have a bonus question in here for you guys. Okay. How about back to number 6 for a little bit, really quickly, but what Soviet action in 1961 raised tensions in Berlin even before the Cuban Missile Crisis? What Soviet action? 1961. Margaret says Berlin Wall. Anybody else? What significant Soviet action? All right, Margaret, you've got it. I like that lone answer. Yep, definitely. Construction of the Berlin Wall. All right, awesome. So applaud yourself, guys. All right. Narrative 2, we're going to read for 10 minutes, come back and do 10 questions and maybe a couple bonus questions. All right. That's our 7 minutes. Just a quick thumbs up if you're still reading. Got you guys. All right, that's our 10 minutes, guys. One thing I wanted to point out about these Supreme Court cases is that there's so much more. Like I couldn't include, all of the details and exactly, all the players and the background, because I just thought, we don't have a lot of time in these sessions. So I think what this encourages you to do, if, there are some cases that you've just never heard of, you have no idea, take some time to go and read up. But I tried to give an overview and, maybe give you, some direction for your studying this week if this is just not a topic that you've touched at all. If there's any case here that, anybody's like, yeah, I've never heard of that. What happened there again? And you want to kind of go over it quickly. I do have the notes here, and maybe that's something that we can do, but I just didn't include all of the details just in the interest of time. That being said, question 1. Super popular one. Absolutely. I've seen it on almost every test I've taken, every study course, it's on there. Marbury versus Madison, established judicial review. Absolutely, Nathan. Absolutely, Ivette. All righty. Which case expanded congressional authority through the doctrine of implied powers? All righty. We've got Acacia with McCullough versus Maryland. Ivette says it's McCullough versus Maryland. And the answers have stopped coming in. And that is absolutely right. McCullough versus Maryland. I do have a bonus question here. Thank you, Travis. Does anybody know the clause in the Constitution that's sort of central to this doctrine of implied powers? Anybody read about this? Mark says it's the supremacy clause. Does it have another name, Mark? I don't want to say you're wrong. I've never heard it called that. Benicius says it's the necessary and proper clause. Anybody else? Alexandra says elastic. Maria, what do you mean yes? You've heard of it? You have an answer? Anybody else? All righty. So I'm not familiar with the elastic, so that's something that I'm going to read up on. Is it the same? But I'm familiar with the necessary and proper clause, and that's the one I'm referring to. So the necessary and proper clause is what sort of gives power to that ruling on implied powers. All righty. Question 3. All right. Dred Scott case, Dred Scott versus Sanford, ruled that what? Absolutely. I see lots of B's coming in. Ruled that enslaved and free African Americans could not be citizens. I have a bonus question here, and it's just going to set you up to get it right when we do the constitutional amendments. But anybody know which constitutional amendment effectively sort of overturned this Dred Scott decision? All righty, I see 13th, which abolished slavery, but I do see some critical thinkers saying 14th. And the answer, I was 13th. I take it that you guys know what the 13th Amendment did, and that's amazing. I didn't put it on the quiz because it's an easy one. The one I was kind of looking for was the 14th, which sort of deals with citizenship. So I think that that's what you guys picked up on, is that 14th Amendment deals with who can be a citizen, the rights of citizens, and that's the one that I was sort of looking at since we're talking about who could not be a citizen. All righty. But you guys know your 13th, and apparently you know your 14th as well. All righty. Awesome. Any questions about that? That was a little tricky one. I didn't think it was going to be tricky, but is that for babies for U.S. citizens born abroad? Khalid, you'd have to, does that apply to babies? I'm not sure I understand the question. Does the 14th Amendment, anybody want to answer that one? I do not know. But I think it deals with people born in the US. Thank you, Margaret. Born
14th
in
Amendment says that it's ratified in 1868, grants all citizenship to all people born or naturalized in the United States.
All right. And prohibits states from infringing on their rights.
And liberties of citizens.
Awesome. Khalid, does that answer your question? I'm not sure. Oh, okay. Khalid says his question is answered. Awesome. Let us move on to question number 4.
Before we do, Margaret had a statement in the chat. It said actually, let me go back. She said the elastic clause, formerly known as the necessary and proper clause, is a provision in the United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, that grants Congress the power to make laws that are necessary and proper to execute its enumerated power. So the elastic clause and necessary and proper are one and the same.
One and the same. Awesome. That's great to know. That's why we're here, to learn things we don't know. Awesome. Alrighty. Which case upheld the separate but equal doctrine? Awesome. The class says B. Everyone says B, and B is correct. Absolutely. Another one that, just kind of comes naturally. We all know. Awesome. And related, the class says C.
Before you can even get it out.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Yep, obviously. Perfect. Plessy versus Ferguson and Brown v. Board of Education. Tied together. Alrighty. Awesome, guys. Which case required police to inform suspects of their constitutional rights? B. Miranda versus Arizona. All right. Yep. Easy one. Miranda. We all know about the Miranda rights. That's a good one. Perfect. There you go, Mark. All righty. Griswold v. Connecticut was significant because the class says it recognized the constitutional right to privacy in marital relations. Tawanda says so. Keisha says so. Maria says so. Alexandra says so. Maria is our last response. And that is absolutely correct. Awesome. All righty. Which principle was reinforced by United States versus Nixon in 1974?
For the sake of time management, I need to learn how these people are reading the question that fast and comprehending the answer and responding. I'm impressed. And I need to learn this. I mean, that shaves at least 5 to 6 seconds off if I can acquire this skill that you guys have.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great skill to have, especially if we're going to time test, right? Absolutely. Upheld that no president is above the law. There was a bonus, but I don't have it prepared. So let's just move on to question number 9. All righty. Citizens United versus FEC ruled that. That one was really quick. I see what you're saying. That was
2
really
seconds.
Maybe they're too easy.
No, I mean, these are some good questions.
The class says B. The answer is B. Corporate and union political spending is protected free speech. Awesome. All right. Last question. Which case overturned Roe v. Wade? I had to learn this. We all know Roe v. Wade, but I didn't know the name of the case that overturned it. We see lots of Tawanda says at, but I think Tawanda might be, there's something going on with her typing. I think, Tawanda, you mean C. Yep, absolutely. Alrighty, perfect. The answer is C. Dobbs v. Jackson's Women's Health Association Organization overturned Roe v. Wade and returned abortion regulation to where? to the states. This is an impressive group of academics here. They're just on there. Okay. Awesome. That's it, guys. Awesome. Thank you, Khalid. Thank you, Tawanda, to the states. Awesome. Anybody have anything to add to that? Anything that jumps out at you that you've read that's relevant, like a fact, or something important to either Eisenhower, Kennedy, or Johnson that we missed that you think is good testing material, or any case that you think is good testing material that we didn't cover? Nope. All right, perfect. We're going to jump right into our U.S. Constitution amendments pop quiz. Either you know them or you don't know them, but I have a feeling that this group knows them. So we're just gonna, and I think, so I didn't do all 27 because some of them are super easy. So I picked 18, and we're gonna run through all 18 and see what we know and what we don't know. First question, Travis.
And the time right now is 7:50. It's 7:58 Eastern Standard. So we do have 2 minutes at the top of the hour. We traditionally do stop at 8, but we leave time, an additional 15 minutes, just in case anyone has additional conversation. But we will use this time for the U.S. Constitution question. So if you have to go, we understand. The video will be sent. Other than that, let's get into it. Here we go.
All right, we'll run through this really quick. Lowered the voting age to 18. Mark says B. Who else is here? Someone says B. Lee says B. Anybody else? We've got 39 people still here. That's only 3 answers. We've got 38 people still here. That's only 3 answers.
I think they're actually scratching their head on this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know how
we're in the same boat now.
Yeah. I remember this one by saying, why not 26? Isn't that when, like, don't they say 26 is when we're like fully developed? That's how I remember it. Why not voting at 18? Why not 26? Our brains are like fully developed. That's mine. It's B, 26th Amendment. Let's move on.
I like that.
All right. The 8th Amendment prohibits what? Mark says B. Yvette says C. Someone says B. Tyler says B. All right. Lots of B's. Lots of B's. We got 1 C. B. Cruel and unusual punishment. Nice job, guys. All right.
A quick comment from the chat. Vincius says today, I think, is the anniversary of JFK's authorization of the Peace Corps.
Oh, okay. Okay. Here's a bonus question. The Peace Corps was established by A, law, or B, executive order? A or B, law or order? Law A, B, order. Awesome. Yeah, B, executive order. Just listen to that on my way home. Just immersed in U.S. politics these days. Executive order. All right. Number 3, let's go. Which amendment gave Washington, D.C. the right to vote? Which one? A, 23rd. We see lots of A's, lots of A's. Lots of A's. Okay, awesome. A, the 23rd. How many electoral college votes does DC get? Anybody?
Oh.
Mark says 3. Tawanda says 3. Someone says 3. The answer is 3. Awesome job, guys. And I remember that one. 23, they get 3 votes. Okay.
Nice way to remember that.
Works for me.
How do you determine that? So is it like divided by the amount of population or just the House of Representatives? How do you?
What did I read? I think I read because
Population, I think.
Okay.
Law from 1924 sets the exact number to 435. Yeah. Yeah. It's Good job. Oh, okay. I didn't about it. Okay. Good. I love
All
it.
right. 23rd Amendment says they get 3. 19th Amendment, guaranteed suffrage to, oh, this was an easy one. So I just slipped in there. Yeah, Margaret, absolutely. To that electoral college. I think that's exactly what I read. All right, everybody's saying B. This was an easy one, slipped in there. Awesome. All righty. Which amendment changed the way that senators are elected? Not such a popular one. Mark, I think, says A. I see some B's. Someone says A. Lay.
Yeah, she says
B.
A.
It's A. All right, Margaret says A. It is A. 17 senators sitting on a SOG trying to get elected. I don't know. That's what I came up with. I keep saying it in my head. All right, the 13th Amendment. Why did I think I just left out all of the easy ones? And I didn't.
Oh yeah,
B.
we
All right.
already checked off on that one. Good.
Yeah. All righty. Nice job, guys. All right. Which amendment limits the presidential term, president to 2 elected terms? Which one? Tawanda, did you say B? Margaret says A. No, Tawanda says B. That was from before. Most people are saying A. A. Alexander says A. She's sure of it. The thank God amendment. All right. It is A. 22nd. Nice. 22, 2 terms. 2 terms. 2 terms.
I love the way you think. We might have a president to have a little bit more than that coming up. We shall see.
All right. Okay.
2 terms. I love it.
All right. The 20th Amendment, called the Lame Duck Amendment, is called the Lame Duck Amendment because it people are saying B. People are saying B. People are saying B. You know what? I should have reworded this. I don't think it's called the Lame Duck Amendment because it was changed to the 20th. It was changed to, January 20th B. And it is called the Lame Duck Amendment. You know what I said? I said, it's 20 degrees out here. It's too cold to be at an inauguration. It's 20 degrees out here. It's too cold to be at an inauguration. Okay. All right. That's that one. All right. Which amendment allowed Congress to collect the income tax? Mark says C. It is C. Louis says. Leigh says. Alexandra says it's C. Nice. It is C. You know what I thought? I'm only 16. I've just got my job. I've got to pay taxes. I'm only 16. All right.
We need to put these on YouTube. Like, people will love these. I'm so serious.
All right.
Joe said your memory tricks are brilliant.
I'm telling you, in one day I had them all. Number 10. The 12th Amendment changed the electoral process by which one? He's got the gold. All right. Someone says A. All right. Cast. We see lots of A's from Acacia, Vinicius, Maria. It is A, requiring electors to cast separate votes for president. All right. Here's what I said. I said one Tuesday in November, 1/2/12, one Tuesday in November, we elect the president and the vice president. One Tuesday. All right. Number 11. Which amendment grants citizenship to all born or naturalized folks in the U.S., prohibits, state? We talked about this a couple minutes ago. Perfect. 14th. All righty. The 21st Amendment is significant because what did it do? What did it do? Of course, we don't need a memory trick for this one. Sort of says it in there. All right, A is correct. Repeal prohibition. Which amendment deals with prohibition? Bonus. Mark says 18th. Well, hold on. How about which amendment deals with prohibition? Let's go that one first. Anybody? Okay, you guys are saying B because you want to answer this one. 18. All right, so we've got 18 deals with prohibition, and for number 13, we've got B. Both questions answered. The 15th Amendment guarantees the right to vote, cannot be denied because of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Excellent. Excellent job, guys. Awesome. The 25th Amendment deals with A, presidential succession from a lot of people. Tom says A. Khaled says A. Acacia says A. All right, Tawana says A. It is A. Good job, guys. Number 15. Powers not delegated to the federal government are reserved to the states or the people. Which amendment says that one? Mark says A. Lee says A. The people are saying A. Tom's got A on the board. And it is A. Awesome. Okay.
Do you have a memory trick for this one?
You know what I said is, I'm embarrassed now to like say them.
No. We love it. We need it.
I've got the federal government is 10 toes down, but not with all the laws. Some of them belong to the states. They're 10 toes down, but some of these belong to the states. All right, cool. I'm so embarrassed.
Don't be.
All right, number 16. The 27th Amendment restricts what? B. People are saying B. All right, B. Here's a good one for that. Here's what I came up with. It's the last one, right? There's only 27. 27 is the last one. I said, the last thing we need to be worrying about is when members of Congress get paid. How much they get paid. That's the last thing we need to be worried about, is how much they get paid. It's the last thing we need to be worried about, is how much they get paid. All right. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you. All righty. Last one, 18. Do we have 18?
Yeah, but we haven't done 17.
Oh, we haven't done 17. Okay. The 24th Amendment banned which barrier to voting? B, poll taxes. B. Venetia says A, is not sure. Ruth says A. This one is a mixed one. It is B, poll taxes in federal elections. This one, I don't know, this one only makes sense to me, but in my head, I said 24 Klansmen, 24 Klansmen tried to tax my vote. Tried to tax my vote. I don't know. Makes sense to me. You come up with whatever you want. I know.
Do me a favor. Reword the question if you can, because I think I'm tripped up by the question.
The 24th Amendment banned which barrier to voting? So even if it's tricky, I think when you study the amendments and you get to know them, one by one, this one specifically talks about poll taxes, right? So if you see 24, so you've got to come up, I think, with your own sort of study regimen to learn them if you choose to. But this one deals specifically with poll taxes. And Margaret points out that literacy tests were banned by the Voting Rights Act. Margaret, that should have been a quiz question. You should have said bonus question. not constitutional amendment.
Yeah, everyone. If you have good questions like that,
Yeah.
you get bonus points. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
put
yeah.
it in the chat, we'll read it out.
Yeah, get off mute. Give us a bonus question if we've got it. All righty. Last one.
All right, here we go.
The 11th Amendment addresses presidential elections, another mixed one. We've got two A's, we've got a B. Anybody else? We've got 36 people on the call. The 11th Amendment addresses A. There are a couple. So presidential elections, which a lot of people are selecting, we had in 12, right? One Tuesday in November, we elect the president and vice president. This one is actually B, state immunity from certain lawsuits in federal court. So for me personally, having been in the military and moved around a lot, I said, you might have lived in 11 states since you were 11, but you can't necessarily sue them. So that's mine, right? So you come up with your own. You might have lived in 11 states since you were 11, but you can't necessarily sue any of them. And for me, that just says, hey, deals with states, lawsuits, can't do it in certain cases. All right. So I encourage you to, you're very welcome, Phyllis. I encourage you to, I'm telling you, super easy. Once you associate something with it, you're like, I'm a genius. I can learn anything in a day. Once you associate something that has to do with you and these numbers, I think we're going to do this again soon. I want to see what people come up with. Maybe we'll have some laughs and see, what people decided, is going to help them remember the 24th. For me, the 24th one is kind of corny. So I want somebody to come up with a really cool one for the 24th. But that is it from me. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Maddie. My pleasure, Phyllis. Thank you guys so much. And I'll turn it back over to Travis. Good luck studying this week.
Let's give it up for Kadeen. If you would like Kadeen to put together a study guide with these memory tricks, a one pager, or kind of thing, let's see it in the chat. Let's see it in the chat.
They're so personal, though. They're really personal. I'd probably have to come up with something that relates to everybody. There's some of them are so personal, but I think everybody should try to come up with something that's like the 11 states since you were 11. That doesn't apply to everybody, So I'm interested to see what people, kind of come up with on their own.
Phyllis said that she's going to be watching this segment again. So, and I loved it. I mean, I know you said you were embarrassed, but I'm like, that's great. That was just great. I was like, okay, I can remember that. I need that.
Yes.
Ruth says, thank you so much. This has been great to come back to the amendments. It's been a minute. And that was important to me to touch again. There's so much material. I started there in a year ago, but I haven't reviewed them in a while. So you're definitely in the right place because we're studying together. We're building up together. Thank you so much. Let's give it up for Kadeen Powell. All right. So we are at time. It's 8:16. Thank you so much for watching and being with us here tonight. If you have any questions or feedback, or if you would like that study guide from the dean, let's see in the email me. So and I may be able to get it from the notes, seriously, because Gemini is recording it, so I may just try to get whatever she had, but she's gonna have to fill in the gap with the others. Let's go. Email me if you have any thoughts about tonight's session, or if you would like to lead a session. Next week, we will actually take the practice test together, and we'll go through each question as quickly as possible with the combined minds that we have. So we're not taking too much time, but we do want to go over each one and discover exactly where you are, and you can take notes as far as what you may need to spend a little bit more time on. Then week after that, we do have Matthew. He is also a future diplomat, and he will be going over the U.S. policy towards China and United States interests in China, mid-19th century to present time. So Ruth asks, are you testing in October? Yep, we got a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Oh, you already responded. I'm late. There we go. Okay, that's all we have, everyone. If you have not had a chance to check out our platform that we're building with these practice tests, these quiz, these flashcards, these games, these courses, the roadmap, definitely check it out. You get a 4-month trial here. We extended it so you'll be able to see a lot of what we're experiencing today. Also, I believe that Kadeen during the week also shares some of these questions that she shares. So in the chat, so definitely make sure that you are in the WhatsApp group. If you're not, I will make sure to share that here in a second. If you cannot scan it because you're watching it on your phone, you can just simply email me your name, and I will make sure that you're shortlisted for that. Let me get that WhatsApp link. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great night. And thank you again.
Good night, everybody. Good luck this week. Good luck studying.
Good night. Thanks.
Good to see you, Rajiv. Here's the WhatsApp link, just in case anyone needs it. I'll pin it just in case. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Joy. Khalid, Nadia, Twanda, Sanjita. Welcome. Just connected with you recently, so that's awesome. If you have any questions, let me know. I am here for a few more minutes if you have any more questions. Thank you, Yvette. Maria, thank you. All right. Let me see. We have Kate's note taker, Sanjita. How are you? Do you have any questions before we go? Okay. Awesome. Great session tonight. Stop taking notes. Let's start recording.